What is going on, guys? It's your boy, Big Money Mike. It's Big Money Mike for today's video, guys. Boy, oh boy, do I have a very special story for you guys. This is probably one of my favorite stories of all time, and probably the video that I'm most excited for to air on this channel. One of the favorites, I'd say. I do have a lot of stuff planned, and a lot of them are remarkable videos. Um, they're all true stories. Everything's true, and it's all about my own experiences. But this is I'm going to talk about experiences that changed my life, and it's about the stock market. Today's video I'm going to talk about how one stock market game I played in a high school class changed pretty much my whole life. To be honest with you, it changed a lot of things for me. Like, I'm wearing a suit, guys. Suit with shorts. You can't see the shorts, but I don't wear suits and shorts every single day unless it's a special occasion. You know, like that flower shirt that you guys saw. You know what I mean wearing a suit, I mean business, and it's gonna be a great video, guys. So we're just gonna get right into it with some backstory. So, um, I got into investing at a very young age. At age 7, my grandmother actually got me into the stock market at age 7. So, my parents were gone on a week-long vacation in Hawaii. One of the last week-long vacation they ever had. Like, last time my dad probably missed more than a day of work at once. But they were on a week-long vacation to Hawaii. I was staying with my grandmother, and during that time, um, she taught me all about the stocks during that time. She kind of created a simulated game between me and a few other my cousins and stuff like that, and kind of taught us the ropes. She started us off with the same stocks and everything, like gave us $100,000 in fake money, basically, and told us like stuff about the stocks. And like she started us with like 10 stocks. Each had like $10,000 worth of them, or like it was varying, but around $10,000 for each stock in different sectors and everything like that. And from there, you could buy the sell the stocks. You were pretty much trading like in real life, but it was for fake money and stuff like that. And I got really religious with it. I started trading stocks, doing that. I literally checked the stocks every single day. I was watching CNBC all the time, and pretty much at the end of that summer, it was kind of a contest. Whoever took it really seriously and enjoyed it and made the most money with it got a big fat check. And I invested it. And she kind of watched Jim Cramer a lot with Mad Money. She whatever he Jim Cramer said at Mad Money, she kind of took as the gospel. And unfortunately, with that, she gave me like $2,500, which I'm grateful for. But not much of that's left, unfortunately, because like she wanted me to buy Potash, it's changed names several times. Potash. It was like Saskatchewan. I don't know how to pronounce it. Saskatchewan, like mining company or something like that, or like corn or something like that. And then Freeport, Mc, I don't know how to pronounce it. Like FX, it was POT and FCX were the tickers on those two stocks, but they basically tanked. And I sold them a few years ago when I started this game. I bought Apple and Spotify. Spotify was not a great move. Ain't gonna lie, I bought it like 300, 290 somewhere in there, and it's less than $100 right now. But that's what you get when you invest in the long term and just pick a single stock. Sometimes you'll hit it big, and sometimes you'll just be like, "Oh shoot, why'd I do that?" But I pretty much stayed interested in the stock market for a few years after that. Was watching CNBC quite a bit, but slowly lost interest at it. I was like 8, 9 years old. I wasn't making any money at this time, and I wasn't interested into it. Like I couldn't get rich in the stock market. I knew the passion would always come back, and I was still investing. Like I had investments at a very young age, but you don't realize I had those 3 stocks. I had 3 stocks, and then like I started working at a very young age. My dad owned his own business, so I was working for him when I was like 9, 10 years old, and I started a paper route when I was 10 years old. So I had more income than a lot of people, and I was very smart with that for the most part. Like just just literally doing that paper route, I saved probably like $12,000 just doing that paper route for 8 years, 1 day a week, and that's an investment. I started a Roth IRA when I was, I want to say, like 11 years old, something like that, and so I'm gonna be set up well because of that paper route. But fast forward a few years, I'm in high school now. It's my junior year of high school, and we're taking personal finance class. And in that personal finance class, it's the stock market game. Hyped up for years, been excited to do it for years. And like I was literally saying, when I was in ninth grade, I was going to win that game. It was so you got to realize I went to a really small high school. I went to a school with actually like 30 kids or less, and you kind of knew everyone, and you had the same teachers all 4 years. So I already knew the teacher. We were tight and everything. He was a really good teacher. He was really fun, and we knew each other well. And I got the nickname Big Money Mike during that class. That's where the Big Money Mike story origin actually begins. Not a lot of people know that who know me well, actually, where it came from, but it came from that personal finance class. because basically I knew everything he was teaching. Like I don't want to say I knew everything about money because I definitely made some mistakes down the line with money, but I want to say I had the knowledge in place and I probably knew more than the teacher and I probably had more money than the teacher. No offense to him, but he was making like maybe he and his wife were both teachers basically at the private school, not making that much money, but he was a good guy. Really liked him, had some good advice, but it was just very rudimentary. And I don't know if it had that great of an impact, but like I knew everything that was coming. Like he's like this, and the stock unit was just insane. Stocks, insurance, and so there was some other stuff at the end that was really good. Um, but we played the start of the stock market game there, and I knew I was gonna win the game. Everyone knew I was gonna win the game because like I cared. Like not a lot of people really cared at that school. Like it was 10 kids. Like it was a required class, or it wasn't necessarily a required class, but like at a school with less than 40 students, you don't offer that many classes. So you have to have either personal finance or economics or like a CTE class to graduate high school. And that's pretty much what everyone took. So there was like 10 kids in the class. Everyone in I had like maybe 8 to 10 kids in that class. We had more then, but we had some students losing it or they transferred out as I did later on. But what happened was basically I got into first place in that game on the very first day of the game, and everyone just gave up. Like I wasn't making that much bank in that game. I really wasn't. I wasn't trading risky at all because they always said day trading's that's my personal finance teacher like day trading, don't day trade, everyone loses money, and they literally throw up photos saying this is Mike right here, this is big money Mike, and he's at his computer day trading, and he just lost a shit pile of money or something like that. I'm trying to keep it clean. Sorry guys, a pile of money, but this is like big money Mike and everything. So like day trading, lose your money, invest in mutual funds. That's it basically. And I'm like, I don't know about that. I mean, my grandma had the day trading in me. Like we'll get to her later on, but like my parents were like, oh boy, that's like he got that from her. So I mean, it was pretty much in my DNA because like she would come home, she'd be trading at her computer, and she'd tell my grandfather that she won like 20 grand that day or something like that, and like I think I don't know, it was just in my blood basically. Like I literally had the fuel to make money invest through her. Like literally, it was just I figured this could be something that I'm doing for the rest of my life. I always kind of knew deep down. I mean I kind of knew I was either going to be this or that, and from like 10th or 11th grade, I knew I was going for finance, and I knew I was going to be a mutual fund manager, basically. And I won that game easily. And what's a crazy story is people were getting behind in that game, or they wanted their grades up. So like I think you can maybe get some bonus points if you won the game or something like that. And everyone wanted to win the game, so I started taking bets from people. Like literally, this person gives me free energy drinks. I'll trade all your stocks for you. So this kid was in last place, and I got him up to second place the next day, basically. I traded some Bitcoin. I day traded Bitcoin, and I made like $10,000 in one day for him. So he was in second place behind me. And then other people were like, what would it take? So pretty much the game got whacked. And then I had no competition. Like it wasn't that fun for me. Like I was literally just buying and holding stocks and I wasn't trading that much. I was trading a little bit like around earnings. Earnings was like kind of my big hitter. I would literally buy a stock during earnings if I knew it was going to go up. And then like, because like a lot of stocks, they change during earning seasons or what. Because you got to realize this is like a month and a half game. Like it's not long-term investing. You're not looking for like dividends. You're not going to get any dividends during that time frame. You're not really looking for like stocks that are going to be good over the next 10 years. You're going to be looking at like stocks that are going to go up in the next month or so. So it's a lot different versus short versus long-term investing. And we'll get to that later on too. How you want to invest for both actually is what my advice is. But pretty much I have no competition, and I go to this school called the Career and Technical Education Center. And that's not my primary school, but it's a different school where you go to a class for a 2 hour block. I'm taking a broadcasting class there, like video editing class. It's called at this time it's like a production class basically, and I'm always there trading the stocks. And the guys next to me wants to get in the game, so I'm like, I give him the code, I let him in, I let him in the game basically, and he starts trading stocks. And it takes like 2 weeks for the teacher to figure out that I let him into the game, so he kicks me out of the game, and then he realizes I'm pretty much still trading on everyone's account, and whoever pays me the most money is going to win the game. So he shuts the whole game down. And I mean, I am the unofficial winner of that game. Like I won the game when I was like 7 years old between my cousins, and I won this game within 10 people to high school. And now, I leave that high school because like that school kind of changed up a lot. Like it was in a church building, and it's a long story, but it was kind of debanding a little bit, but merging with a different school. And like the principal there at when it was a small church, it was a great experience. Like that principal would work hard for you. He would accommodate you. He'd let me take these classes at the CTE Academy, and I want to take some business class. I want to take accounting up there, and then I wanted to take another class that was another business class, which hands down was the best class ever because they just played the stock. It was composed of two parts, basically. One, you start a business. One part, it was like two classes, but it was like two classes in like a 2 hour span. 2 hour block. You went there every single day for 2 hours, and basically you literally one part of the class you start a business. Like it's two different classes under one block, if that makes sense. But like it's not always taught the same day, if that makes sense. It's the same teacher, everything, same students, everything. But like one class you start a business, and one you basically play the stock market game. And I was excited for that stock market game the whole year. Wasn't a big fan of accounting class. But I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna win that stock market game. I'm gonna win that stock market game. I was literally hyping it up all along. So the game. Well, let's get into the game now. The game started on February. It was like the first week in February. Like it was like back then the Super Bowl was like the first weekend in February. And I don't know. I think it may have started. I think it started February like 2nd or something like that. But it went through April 15th. I remember, and I was hyping it up. They had some guy, some sleazebag from Wells Fargo on like a Wednesday before the game started, talk about the game and everything, strategy and everything. People were asking questions and everything, and I already knew I was going to win the game. Like I wasn't listening. I was like, what does this sleazebag know? Like he literally said buy DraftKings, and everyone bought DraftKings basically. He's like, I just think that's gonna be my pick, man. Like that thing, I'm piling every extra penny I get, I'm piling into DraftKings basically. Yeah, that was a bad investment. It was like $70 at that time. Last time I checked, I think it's like $10 a share, buddy. 15, 20, something like that. But that's a story for another day. And like, I knew I was gonna win the game. I knew like I'm gonna be a mutual fund manager, and this is literally my time. Like I'm literally getting $100,000 in fake money. I'm getting a lot of competition to win this game, and it wasn't just my class, mates. It was actually the whole state of South Dakota. So they had over 300 some participants in the whole entire game. And I was completing it. It's college students, high school students, and like some middle school students. Like it was mainly 90% of it was high school students, but they did have some college students in there. But it was wild, and like it was a wild experience. And I told everyone in my class, like, keep in mind, I'm a quiet kid at most of the time. I was a fairly quiet kid before this. I go to I'm at a different school now, like 2,000 kids. I don't really know anyone. I don't have that much confidence. Like a year before, I was already so shy I couldn't talk to anyone that was a stranger. Like I literally wanted to be friends with the kid, and I couldn't. I'm still friends with him this day, but I was literally scared to talk to him for like a month, just to say hi or who do you think, like, just literally start any conversation with him. Like I was so shy and insecure, and I still was at this point. Like I did have some issues going on. We'll get to that, but I was let's just say I was ugly as hell, and I was skinny as hell. So I didn't have much confidence there at all. But I said in front of the class, I said, I guarantee you I'm gonna win the game. And everyone's like, oh, whatever. I'm like, no, it's just a done deal. Like it's just a fact. Like you guys don't stand a chance against me. Like the odds of me becoming president tomorrow at 18 years old is greater than me not winning that game, not getting first place in that game. And I told everyone I was gonna win that game. Literally telling my mom and dad I was gonna win that stock market game. They're like, do it. They believed in me. And let's just say, the first day, boy oh boy was I excited. Like literally that weekend, I had like 700 stock names that I wanted about buying. But I'm like, screw that. That day, it was like you got to realize this was 2021, and it was like late January or early February, and Joe Biden recently got into like the presidency. So like I was thinking like a lot of tech stocks like EV battery and stuff was going to be really well because he was for like the like gas prices were going through the roof, and like he was like on that emission stuff. Like he would support a lot of electric vehicles, stuff like that. So I was looking for electric vehicles, electric battery, and I was looking for cannabis that day because cannabis stocks went through the roof. There was a stock called Tilray that went up to like $70 that day or something like that. It like peaked. It was like its all time high. Went up to $81. I'm like, oh boy, like cannabis was going up that day. Every cannabis stock was up by like 20% that day. I'm like, I'm buying some cannabis. I lost so much damn money on that Tilray stock. I literally, I every single trade, I have it written down. I haven't looked at the notes for a long time, but every single transaction, I think I have it written down. Like I do have some notes from the class we got to do presentations on that. Thank God I saved because I knew I was gonna do a video on this. So I'm like, I have notes of every single stock that I wanted to buy. Like literally every stock. Like when I started winning this game, well, when I started really going after it, like I went to the 9. So I finally found the data and everything. So on the very first day, I bought a stock called Tilray. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right. TLRY is the ticker name, and I bought it February 10th. sold it on February 11th. It was like one of the first days of the game. I don't know if it was the very first. I lost 43.39%. Like, let me see this. Can we get a close up on this graph here? Look where I bought it. You see that point there when it's super high? That's where I bought it. So I bought it at like $63, and by the end of the game it was at $16. So thankfully I sold it pretty quick, but I lost 44% on Tilray on my very first day. So I was towards the bottom of the pack. Like I was literally I was literally at the bottom of the pack, and that month February it didn't get a whole lot better, to be honest with you. It really did not. Like literally, I just couldn't seem to get a trade going. Like so I said I started the game with 100,000, and like my strategy was a lot different here. Like I was buying stocks. Like I said, I wasn't doing any short selling yet. Short selling is when you actually bet against the stock. So like, let's say I buy a stock for $50, it goes down to $40, I make $10. This is actually way riskier because you can't control how much money you use. Like, let's say I bought that stock for $50, but I short sold it and it went up to like $200. I literally would have lost like $150, which is more than what I paid for the stock. While if you buy a stock, like let's say you buy a stock for $50, you can't lose more than 50. You can't lose more than what you paid for it, if that makes sense. So like the most you could lose is $50 if the stock value went to zero. But here, like let's say you bought a stock for $1, shorted it, and it went up to $1,000,000, you'd be out $999,000 basically. So it's very risky. And I in the month of February I just couldn't get a break, man. My ending ranking was so I said there was over 300 participants, but we had teams during this thing, so it was 160 total. But there's 2 to 3 people on each team, and my teammate, I pretty much just told him, just let me handle it. I'll win us the game, guaranteed. And he's like, okay, okay. I was in 154th place in February at the end of the month, and I started picking it up at towards the end of February a little bit. But I think I got down to like 158. Like I wish I had the lowest rating. But total trades, we had 139 total trades in that month, and we lost every single week. I lost money. Um, so like every single week I had less money than I had the week before, and our rankings just kept going down. So every week we lowered our rankings, just kept getting lower. Like I started off this, we didn't even have a full month of February. I think we had like it's a short month anyways, and I think we didn't start until like the first week, and we didn't start until like the first week in February, maybe like February 6th or 8th or something like that. So we had like maybe 20 days, and keep in mind we can only trade on days when the market's open. So I think it was closed on President's Day or something like that, and it's Monday through Friday. That's it. So we started with $100,000 in the game, and by the end of February, I already had $80,000. So I lost 20 grand in that month. So I was doing real good. I was off to a real good start, and the game ended on April 15th, basically. And like I was trying different things. By the end of the month, I was like, I said I'm just gonna buy 5 big stocks that are like proven companies that are gonna get me back into the game. Cause like once I can get up to $100,000 and stuff like that, or I'm gonna put all my eggs in one basket. Like I'm gonna buy a stock that's going towards earnings. Uh, like I'm just gonna gamble on it. Like I remember putting like $20,000 into like Dick's Sporting Goods. Like you can only have like 25% of your diversification in like one. Like you couldn't put 100% of it in one stock. Like you can only have 25% of your value in one stock for your total portfolio, if that makes sense. But like I bought Dick's Sporting Goods or something like that for earnings season because like Jim Cramer said it was probably gonna go up like $10 tomorrow. Went down like $7, so I literally lost like $2,000-$3,000 on that trade. But so I sold 67 stocks that month, and I bought 69. I bought 72 stocks total. 69 were like long position buys, 3 were short sell buys, and only 7 of those 67 trades that I sold made me money. So I lost basically 90% of my trades were I lost money on. And I only get so it was 12 days of trading. Like I said, it was a short month. I only gained money 4 out of those days. And I lost money the last 5 days of the month. So I was like on a cold streak and everything. And do we have a graph here? Okay, here we do. We have more information. I wish I had like all my information, but I don't think I do. But the best trade we had was Riot blockchain. Good stock for the long term back then. But we made 780. Why am I saying we? It was just me trading. Like that guy didn't do any trades. But he was part of the group because like I told him I'll do everything and I'll win us the game. He's like, oh okay, and I made $787 for my best trade. Not bad, but I don't want to spoil anything yet because the story does get a little bit better. But that riot chain, I gained 21.9% on that trade. Not terrible, not great, but okay. And my worst trade was GameStop. I lost $4,500 on a short for GameStop was our worst stock in the whole thing. We lost money on that a lot. I just could never crack the code because you got to realize GameStop was crazy. So like right before we started the game, that the whole GameStop meme stock thing was just going crazy. So like it was going up, so I shorted the damn thing right away, or I bought it or something like that. I shorted it, or I bought it and went down. So I shorted it, but then it went back up and everything. And actually, I figured it's gonna be like a $10 stock next year, but it kept going up, and then it would go down, and I'd miss it. So even when I started doing a little bit better, because keep in mind I didn't finish last place. I'm gonna tell you that much, but I didn't. I'm not gonna tell you I won or anything, but I did okay. But I lost 222% on that stop trade. So I didn't have that much invested. So that's what I said. 222%, you can lose more than 100% of your money. So that means I probably put like $1,000 in it, and I actually lost like 4,500. That was the worst trade ever by percentage. And yeah, February included the three first worst trades by percentage. So like percentage trades were the worst. The best day, actually not a bad day. I actually managed gaining $4,480 in one day, which was not bad. And our worst day, I can't even read this. Like you can kind of see, like the font got blacked out there a little bit. But the worst day, the best week. Okay, this is funny. The best week, I said we lost money every single week. The best week was when we lost 3% from our previous week, 3.26%. And our worst day, we literally lost. I literally lost $7,800, and that was 8.9% from what our previous. The percentage is what really matters, but it was 8.9% less money than we had I had the previous day, and yeah, the worst week lost like 10.4% in 1 week. Not good. So February, not that great. I do have a graph like of everything, basically, but where is the graph? So I'm gonna show you guys this graph. This is like the S&P 500. So the S&P 500 is like a gold standard. Like if you invest in the S&P 500, you can probably get like a 10% return every year, and you can double your money every 7 years, basically. So that's kind of like the gold standard of like index funds. But look at this graph. So you can see that line going down. That is me right now, and we were down 20%, and that top line is like the S&P average. So like at this point, I was in the bottom 5 basically for groups in the game. Not too bad for the guy who said I'd have a greater chance being president tomorrow at 18 years old, or there'd be a greater chance for everyone you guys have $1 billion cash laying by your bedside when you wake up tomorrow than me not winning this game. Not a bad start at all. I still knew I was going to win the game. I knew I was going to turn around, but my dad was like, "What the heck, man? You got to get better than this." Like I was watching Mad Money. I was trying still. Like I was still probably trying harder than anyone else. I was just super giddy off the start, and I just did not start off hot. That was the understatement of the year. So this is where the story gets even crazier. Do I start doing better in March? No. No. March was actually a worse month than February. Basically. So the way the game works, it doesn't update your final rankings till the other day. So literally, like the best day was I didn't until the last day of the month. I pretty much sucked. So we started the month at 80,000, like I said, and I actually got down to $71,549 on March 27th. The game ends on April 15th. First place was like 120 some thousand at this point. So I was like $50,000 out of first on March 26th, and the game ended on April 15th. And I began the month at 154, and I actually got down to 158 out of 160. I think I was like second to last place. I don't think I was ever last place in the game, but I was like second to last place in the game at one point. And things started turning around a little bit, like I said. But the thing is, I just couldn't keep consistent at it. Like I started doing some of the trading systems that I wanted to try, but I just didn't take enough calculated risk and everything. I actually gained money on 13 of the 23 days, and including 13 out of the last 17. It seemed like this month was like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. Like I'd do well for a few days, and then I'd make a crummy investment and I'd lose it all basically. And I started sorting some stocks at this point. 148 trades that month, 46 buys, 45 normal sells. I had 39 short sells and 18 short covers. So that's where the shorts really started playing at the end of the month. And I only all on my trades, like I said, like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back. This is kind of what tells that. I sold 63 trades. 21 of them went for a profit. And from like I said, from March 1st to March 26th, I made a profit of about no, I lost like nine. I lost $9,000 basically. So take that for what you will. But I didn't even sell a trade. I started off cold, like I said. We didn't sell a trade for profit that month until March 9th, which is just insane. But we started gaining money weeks. Like 3 of the last 5, March was like 5 weeks or something like that. Or like it was like the market ended 5 Fridays or something like that. And out of those 5 Fridays, we gained money from the previous Friday like 3 times, which is awesome. And we moved up in the rankings 3 out of 5 weeks. Um, you know, um, we did have some bad trades in there as well. But on the last day of the month, the big turnaround happened. This is what I call the big turnaround. So this is how it came about. We had in this class we had guest speakers all the time, like every Wednesday or something like that. We had a guest speaker, and I was getting bored during that guest speaker, and I was just messing around with the stocks. And I'm like, at this point, all hell breaks loose. I'm going for it. So like I had like John Deere and Berkshire Hathaway as my long stocks at this point. That was it. I had John Deere the whole game, and a Berkshire I picked up sometime in that month when it was at a low price. But like in February, my main strategy was buying stocks that were gonna go up soon. That like buying stocks that were tanking, like buy low, sell high, basically. Like, but you got to realize it's a 2.5 month game. Like if Apple is $100, I couldn't buy at the right time. I wasn't buying at the right time. Like I wasn't timing the market right, and that's still something that not even the best day traders can do. But like I said, we hit $71,000 on March 26th. What was my balance on April 1st? 97,752.99 cents. I got up to 71st place on April 1st. The big turnaround. This was the day I was bored in class, like I said, and I started trading stocks. Pretty much traded all my stocks away, sold it, except 2 stocks basically. And during this hour, I had the best day trading I had in the whole entire game. I gained $20,000 in that hour. $20,000, $570. $20,570. 26.9% increase in one day. And I gained like 80 some positions in that one day. And right there, I knew I was back in the game. I had my new strategy going on, the strategy that I wanted to implement the whole time because I knew it would work, and it was day trading. But everyone told me, don't day trade. That guy in the beginning, don't day trade. That's how you lose your money. But I said I kind of know what I was doing. I started day trading a little bit in March, but I lost on some of the trades, and I was inexperienced. Like I didn't know when to sell. I didn't know when to get rid of them. I didn't know how to time the market. I didn't know how to buy in layers, is what I call it, and sell in layers. But this was a big day, the big turnaround day. Four of our best trades, four of my best trades were made on that day. Four of the top 10 trades were made on the day. Five of the best trades by percentage points, which is what I care about the most, was made on this day. Every single stock I sold that day was for a profit, and 83 places in one day, from 154 to 71 in one day. And like I said, our worst day was March 25th. I lost $7,000 in one day, 9% down, and that's where we hit rock bottom. Like I got up to 80,000, back up again. Like every time I climbed up, I went back down. But that week, we gained $20,990 in that big turnaround week, and that so basically we had one day where we gained $20,600, and the rest of the week we gained $300 total. But the worst week was the week before that. We I lost about only 3.8% in the worst week, or 8.8%. It was the worst week. So literally I wasn't doing terrible, but I wasn't doing great. But the big thing is I kept adapting. Like I was trying different strategies, and this is the day that day turned things around for me. After that day, I never lost money except for one day I lost money, and from that moment there, I knew 100% without a doubt that I was gonna win the game. I never doubted myself. I've told my dad every day, like he pushed me to get better, and like I told my parents that day that I made 20 grand in the stock market, and they knew I knew I was gonna win the game right there. Like I knew no one stood a chance, and I knew I was gonna win by a landslide. Like that was the day that I needed. I was right back in the game. I was $3,000 from breaking even. The game ended in 2 weeks. Like I literally said that I was thinking, if I'm gonna win this game, I gotta start making money moves right now. And I was literally thinking that during that class. I'm like, this is where our turnaround starts. And well, that's where it did start. And let me just show you this graph right here. This tells you everything. The up and downs, the up and downs. So like the bottom again is us, and the top is the S&P 500, and like most people are above zero at this point. Like the winners at like maybe 25,000 above 100. So you see that line? I don't know if you can see it because it might be flipped, but we started around negative 20%, got all the way down to about negative 30 at like right here, and then you can see the big turnaround, like weekend, and then boom. So like that was April 1st right here. This was April 1st on the opening balance on April 1st. But that was pretty insane. Like you can see that big growth, and we're almost back in the game at that point. You know, the best trade we had was on that day. I made $572 on an AVEO trade by percentage. We made since I bought a lot of stocks that day. Like I bought like 20 stocks that day, and like I didn't have much money, so I was diversifying like crazy because I didn't want to lose that much money. Because I literally throw a lot of money in a stock because I was being riskier, throwing too much money in a stock, and it wasn't working out. When that stock went down, I was basically toast. And I gained 44.4% on that trade, so that was crazy. Going to April, this is where things got out of control. So you said like the next day after that March at that after the April 1st, I was in 10th place, and this was like I got up to 13th place the next day. So you said so you heard how I went up to 71st place from 154 to 74. The next day I got it back up to 13th place, and then we had a big long weekend. It was Easter weekend, so markets were closed on Friday and Monday for Good Friday and Easter. And that day, like I had the good trades from the other day before. Like I didn't really need to do anything. I actually made a terrible trade that day. I bought Liberty like car rentals or something like that. Liberty, it was like Liberty Enterprises or something like that. Liberty car rental. I don't even know the stock. I don't even know the ticker. But I shorted it at like 50 some dollars, and that stock went up over $120 that day. Like I was down about $40,000 on that one stock. But remember, I made all those good trades yesterday, shorts. So like all those stocks were going sky high, and it was like all in the last hour. So like I didn't sell off on any of them. So all of them went down, and I still was able to make some money. So this day I got back over even. I don't know exactly my placement, but the next day I was in 13th place, and then I got up to fourth place the next day. Like that Tuesday after, I got up to first place, fourth place, and then the next day I was in first place. So I started getting on a roll, and I never looked back. I was in first place the rest of the game, basically. That's the story. But like I started being addicted to it. Like once I started seeing success, I knew my strategy was gonna work that I came up with. I was on the stocks 24/7. I was taking tests on my computer, and I was still on the stock market game while I was taking a test. I didn't care. That was the most important thing for me. And at the end of that game, basically the last week, we had 1 week left, and my goal was to get to $200,000. I knew I had the game in the bag. I was in first place at this point, and I knew I was gonna win the game. And my biggest blessing happened. Like God was looking out for me here. My sister got COVID, so I couldn't go to school. It was like a big time where like COVID thing. I don't even know if I can say it without getting demonetized. But we're not making any money from YouTube anyway, so we can say COVID. But my sister got COVID, and I was a close contact to her. I was feeling fine, but I couldn't go to class because they were strict about this stuff back then. Like if you were within, if you a person who sat like right next to you got COVID or something like that, you literally had to get moved out of school. So like I got quarantined for a week. You know what I did? I didn't do homework. I just sat at my computer and traded stocks all day. I doubled my money in just 6 days of trading. From that 71,000, I was up to $143,000 in 6 days of trading. And I was around that $143,000 mark on Friday. And I told my dad in the car, we're going to Minot, North Dakota to look at the school in Minot. But told my dad all up there, like, every day every day once I started winning, I started tracking my stocks, seeing, okay, what did I buy it for? What's it at closing? What am I going to sell it for? I'm going to sell some at this point, and I'm going to sell it all off at this point. How much money have I made? How much money am I trying to make from this trade? What's my percentage? Like, I'll show you the sheets and everything. And like I would do this every day. So we were in like Fargo, and I told him I was at 143,000 because like the system didn't update until like the next day. Like you couldn't see your ending balance, but like I always knew in my head like kind of where I was at because I told it up every day, every day. Just like I used to do when I was 7 years old. I used to go on Yahoo Finance, look, see how my stocks did, decide, am I going to buy this stock, sell this stock, whatever. And like I kind of brainstormed like stocks I'm going to buy on Monday. And like I was like shorting stocks at this point, which is easier to predict, at least for me. I mean, it's easier to predict when a stock's going to go down. Like if a company's going to get sued tomorrow, their stock's going to go down big time. So I'm kind of reading the news, looking, okay, what stock do I think is going to go down tomorrow? Or like what stock got, like if a stock doubled in money, like let's say the stock just blew up, like it went to 100% today, like it went to the moon, it's probably gonna have to come down eventually. Not all the time, but it's usually gonna come down eventually, and it's usually gonna come down pretty quick, and you might be able to make some money there. And of course, this is a simulated game. Like if this was real life, I wouldn't be able to make this much because like the stock market works like an auction. So like let's say the stock's like sky high, everyone's gonna want to short that stock. So the people who sell it off are literally gonna like the bid's going to be over the stock price, and the shares of people, like for someone to buy a stock, someone has to be selling the stock. It basically works as an auction site. So like some people can literally sell above the market price or whatever. And I'm losing battery on my phone, so I might have to wrap this up quick. But essentially, it wasn't like a real game. Like it wasn't like you were never out of shares, and you always bought at like the market price. And I told my dad I'm gonna get to 200,000 on Monday. I lose some money. Next day, I'm up to like 150 or something like that on like Tuesday. Then next day, I get up to like I don't even know the exact number, but on Thursday, I got up to 186,000, and we were going on Friday. We were going to Stevens Point, Wisconsin, to look at the school there, looking at a lot of colleges at this point. And my mom was like, "We gotta leave at 11 o'clock. You don't have school. We're gonna leave early to go there." I'm like, "I gotta get to 200,000 today." So I day trade. At this point, I'm day trading. Like I'm not even looking for stocks that are gonna come crashing down. I look for the stocks that go like volatile, like this, and this. So on Thursday, I literally bought a stock. I owned it for 9 minutes and made $5,500 on it. Cause like I bought about 5,000 shares of it. It went up like $1.50, sold it, and then I'm like, it's gonna come down, so I'm gonna short sell it. So I literally just find very volatile stocks, and that's I got up to about 198,000. I figured, and like that day, I was just trading. Like I probably made 50 trades that day and everything. Like I literally had like $5,000 lost in transaction fees because like it actually was a real game. It did simulate, like it did have transaction fees and everything like that, and we'll get to that in the end. But I lost some money in transaction fees, like. But no, I got up to 200,000 that last day. I sold all my shares at like, sold all my stocks at like 10 o'clock in the morning. It was a real struggle bus, but I got to $200,000. And during that week, I was helping someone else in the class. We had someone else in the top 10, and they were like, "What's your pick, man?" Everyone treated me like an idol. Like this gave me a lot of confidence. Like, you got to realize, like I said at the beginning of the point, ugly as hell, skinny as hell, and I didn't have much confidence. Like I was very insecure at this time, and I kind of went away with the stock market game and stuff like that. It gave me, I wouldn't say it gave me validation, but it gave, like I never won anything in my life, and like I just knew this is what I'm good at. I'm gonna win this game. Like sports, everything. I was always on a bad team. I never won, and this was all me. Like I actually did something meaningful, and I tried hard, and I was the best. I was the best in the whole state of South Dakota at it. Over 300 people playing. I was in the best. I was the best, and anyone in high school, anyone who participated in the game, I was way better than everyone else. And I helped those guys. I just told them, gave them some stock picks. They got up to second place. They had like a $15,000 week, and got up to second place. So I finished with 200. What did I finish with? $202,939.16. I would have been way higher, but I couldn't trade past like 10 a.m. that day because we had to get going, and I couldn't trade in the car because no internet and stuff like that. I had a crummy phone and a crummy computer at that point in time. But I won the game, and everyone doubted me out. Everyone was making fun of me. Everyone was clowning me. No one believed in me besides me and my dad, really. And Like he knew I was gonna win it, and I knew I was gonna win it too, and he pushed me to get better. But this thing taught me a lot. It taught me a lot more than just how to trade stocks. Like I already knew how to trade stocks a little bit. I just wasn't practicing right, and like it told me how to. I learned a lot about investing, and I learned a lot about life through this game. Like it's kind of like society, basically. You take the stock market. You every time you buy a stock, you're taking a risk, and I was playing it safe. What I thought was safe at first. What society tells you about the stock market, the only thing you've heard about the stock market is buy low, sell high. Probably, if you don't know much of the stock market, that's the one thing that you hear. That's what everyone's trying to tell you. That's what the world's trying to dictate for you to do. Buy low, sell high. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to buy good companies low and sell high, but it wasn't working. And everything that told me the big risk was day trading. You're gonna lose your money. And I'm like, I knew day trade when I was in 11th grade in personal finance class. They told me to never day trade, and I'm like, I knew day trading was where it's at. My parents told me, don't day trade. Like, you're so spontaneous and everything. Like, everyone tells you not to day trade unless you know what you're doing. And I was just day trading at this point. I didn't even hold the stock for more than like a day unless it was doing really well and it was a long and I had like maybe 10 shares of it. But essentially, um, it gave me the belief is like if you believe in yourself, it doesn't matter what anyone else says to you. Like I was getting clowned for being in last place. Like people were making fun of me, like, "Oh, didn't you say you were gonna win the game? Or didn't you say you were the best trader in the world? Or didn't you say you were gonna be $1 million mutual fund manager? Or didn't you say you were the next Warren Buffett or something like that?" And I believed in myself, and I worked extra freaking hard at this. Like I worked harder than anyone else in that game. I was spending like 4 hours. I was on the stocks all day at school. Had it on my phone, had it on my computer, and at night I would literally research a lot of stuff, research the news. I would track all my stocks. That's why I was successful. I worked harder than everyone else, and I found a system that I knew worked, and that I knew deep down this was the best way to do it. But I was afraid to take that risk, you know. And whenever you know you're right, but you're afraid to take that risk, whether someone else tells you, you got at the end of the day, you got to do what's right for you. Like if you know you're good at something, go for it. Like if you ever want to do something, go for it. And if you like this stock marketing challenge, like I went for it. I went hard for it, and that's why I failed a lot at first. But I never gave up, and I always knew that was gonna happen. Like look at Mr. Beast. We can use him as an example as well. It took him like 4 years to get to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube channel. His story was that he wanted to be a YouTuber since he was like 11, 12 years old. Like he knew he was kind of like me in a sense, but like how I know that I wanted to be a mutual fund manager my whole life basically. I was gonna be pretty damn good at it, but he knew he wanted to be a YouTube channel. His mom forced him to go to community college, and he would skip classes to work on videos. He didn't go to class at all, but he would just sit in his car, work on videos in the car and stuff like that. And he had 1,000 subs after like 4 years, and he had like 2,000 subs after that, and he was like on the verge of giving up. And then he had his big moment. Like he didn't give up. And he's like, I'm just one video away from making it. And like I think he went from like maybe 2,000 subs, like 1 million in like less than a year. Like I don't know what happened, but like he literally has like 100 million subs right now. And like he's the biggest YouTube channel in the world, but it took him a long time. Like my YouTube channel, my other YouTube channel, um, it probably took me a year to get 1,000 real subs. But like I had more success in my first year than he did for sure. But he stuck with it. Like if you're passionate, if you work harder than everyone else, you can achieve anything you want. Because this game is exactly how life works. Because people were asking me, why do you care so much? Why do you work so hard at this game? It's stupid. And life is exactly like that stock market game. You know, um, this just gave me tunnel vision. It made me lock into this. Like it made me not care. Because at the end of the day, if I made a mistake, it's just a game, and that's the way you got to look at life. If you fail hard, it's just a game. Like if you screw up, if you make a bad decision, like if you want to try a business that fails, like let's say I wanted to start a soup business, but it failed. It's just a game. It's literally everything's just a game, man. Like, and once you figure out that it's just a game, like you're just supposed to have fun and do what you want to do. I mean, it really lessens the failures and it makes you go for things that you want because like what's the worst thing that can happen? Like you literally like let's say you try day trading for the first time, don't know what you're doing. Like obviously I would recommend like playing a lot of sim games so you kind of know what you're doing first. Let's say you lose all your money day trading at like 20 years old. I'm 20 years old now. Let's say I put $5,000 in day trading and lose all that money. Ain't that big of a deal because I know I have a long time to make up for it. You know what I'm saying? Um, And like everyone's like, why are you working so hard? Why do you care so much? And that's exactly what life is. You're gonna have people who don't care. Like, why should I try to be the best at my job? I mean, why should I try to be the best at what I can do? Like, I'm like, you 95% of the people are just going through the motions, and they're gonna try to bring you down with them. For people to bring you up, they have to be at a place above you. For what I'm saying, like people below you, like choose your friends wisely. I say, like, don't spend time with people who are gonna drag you down. Like your day one people that were always pushing you to do better. Like in this case, it was my dad. He was always pushing me to do better. He always believed me. He's like, you're gonna win that game. He's the guy. Keep trying, keep adapting, and like the adaptability is another thing. I changed my strategy. Lord knows how many times. Like every single day, I'm like, this is my new gig. This is my new strategy. Even after I hacked it with that strategy, I literally just started day trading. My new strategy was like find a volatile stock and just own it for like 5 minutes and try to make a profit on it. That was my new strategy. Like I literally sold all my stocks at night basically, and I literally cashed out every single night. So my strategies just kept changing, and if you keep adapting and innovating, you're gonna be successful. Because like, let's say you're a musician. Let's say like Elvis Presley, if he just did the same exact music forever, he wouldn't be relevant anymore if he was still alive. Like the music changes, like fashion changes. Like let's say, like back in the old days, everyone wore suits. Like, and they look back now, like they'd be like, "What the hell are these people wearing?" And like stuff, everything changes. And if you adapt and if you innovate and find out the strategy that works so you can get ahead of the game, you can be successful at everything. Like if something's not working as well as like you used to, adapt and evolve and innovate. That's what you have to do in life. And it was a life lesson, man. Like it literally made me think of things as not that matter. Look at this chart, guys. Remember that S&P chart that I showed you that was way ahead of mine? This was what it is in April. It's just basically a flat line, and that's me right there. You can see that day where I lost money, but towards that end, I was balling, guys. That's my chart. I ended up at $202,000. I doubled my money in 6 days in the game from like 71,000 to 143,000, and then like literally, I doubled my money in the entire game. And no, like literally, I was at 123,000 that Friday because, like I said, the game doesn't update your position to the next day. So at the end of that day, Friday, I knew in my head I made at least 10 grand that day. But the leaderboard showed I was at 123,000. I told everyone I'm gonna double my money and get to 2,000. He's like, no, that's impossible, man. Everyone told me it's impossible. And like, let's say you have some idea, like, you think it's a genius idea. Everyone's gonna tell you it's impossible just because they're not wired like you. Like all those people that tell you it's impossible, like go up in one ear and out the other. Everyone in that class doubted me when I said I was gonna get to 200,000. Everyone looked at me with a crooked eye, crazy, when I said I was gonna win that game, and I still said I was gonna win that game. I may not have been I may not have been like saying, "Oh, I'm gonna win that game" in front of everyone. I wasn't putting bets on it, but deep down, I knew. I told my dad every day, "I'm gonna win that game," and he's like, "Yeah, I know you are." And I knew deep down, I never doubted myself. You know, and this is like the comeback story, like the epic comeback story. I may have not been the smartest person in that game. I may not have been the best stock trader in the world. I lost the whole game. I actually had more trades that I lost money on than the trades that I gained money. But I took my cards and did the best that I can. Like look at Tom Brady. He doesn't have the most talented arm. He doesn't have the most. He's not the most athletic quarterback. But he takes the cards that he's dealt and he does his absolute hardest and he works his ass off. And if you do that, you don't have to have the most natural talent. You don't have to have the best support system. But as long as you believe in yourself and try your absolute hardest to get better every single day, you can accomplish so much more in life than you actually realize. And that's kind of what this game taught me. Like, look at this. I went from let's say I was down, like let's say this was life. Like if I was down 29, I was like in last place in the game. Like everyone was lapping me. Everyone was wiping my ass at work or something like that. But I turned it around real quick. And every day is a new opportunity. Like every day I looked at a fresh start, like restart. Doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Doesn't matter if you're hit rock bottom. All it takes is one big day to turn things around, and that kind of what happened to that stock market. Like you're one date away from finding that dream goal. You're one product away from having your business blow up, but you never know until you try. So that's why I'm saying never give up on that dream. Never give up on that passion. Like always take steps to it because you never know You never know when things are gonna fall in your lap and work for it. Like, I could have gave up and I could have stopped trying in this game and I could have like it didn't matter if I finished in last place. I don't think it was gonna harm my grade at all. It's like a presentation, it's experience, but experiment and stuff like that. But I didn't give up, and I'm like, this is my chance. With 2 weeks left, I knew I had to win the game. I knew I had to make a move, and I knew deep down I probably should have done it sooner. Like I kind of knew the way to day trade, but everyone told me not to. And society's gonna tell you, go to college, do this, do that, get a job. Pretty much, like society has like the meal plan. Like it's kind of like not a meal plan, but what am I saying? But a plan for everyone, saying get good grades in high school, go to college, get a job, work that 9 to 5, get that average 55% income. But look at this on the scale. Like a lot of people are underachieving, and they know it. Like, think about this. If you made $55,000 a year and just put $100 away a week, you'd be a millionaire by the time you retire. But only like 10% of the people are millionaires, if that. Like, to get in head of life, you got to do extraordinary things, and you have to believe in yourself, and you can't let anyone dictate what you decide. You can't give a crap what other people think about you who are below you or trying to bring you down. Anyone who's trying to bring you down, just don't listen to them. Like, don't care. Like, I have other stories like this too, but it didn't bother me. People said, because like I said, well, they're wrong. I'll prove you wrong. I mean, it doesn't even matter if I prove you wrong, because just deep down, I know that one day I'm gonna be very successful. That was a rant. I'm gonna say that. But reason why we failed in the first 2 months, I had no solid framework for when to buy and sell stocks. Like my framework was, I was scared of losing big money. So like if stock was down, I'd panic and I'd sell. I'd panic and I'd fold, because like I was when I was failing, like let's say in life, you fail a little bit and you're like, oh man, I gotta give up. That's basically what me. Like I didn't trust the process. Like some of those buy low, sell high stocks, like I bought super low, but they just kept going down and down and down, and then I sold them, and then Lord knows, 2 weeks later they're going way up. And lack of patience was basically like I wanted to make money that day. Like if I wasn't making money in 2 days, like it was investing for the short term, so I wasn't concerned about long term. Like I wasn't trying to be a millionaire in 20 years. I was trying to double my money in very short period of time. But I had a fear of losing everything. Like I literally just kept holding back. Like if I would have done those risky trades, they would have paid off in the beginning. And like I knew deep down I should have put in. And then just lack of time. Like I wasn't putting enough time into it. Like I said, I wanted to win, but I was putting in more action than most people, but I wasn't getting ahead because I wasn't tracking down every single thing. I wasn't obsessed with it. And if you're gonna succeed with something, you're gonna have to work hard. Like you don't know how much time I put in this game. Like it was my passion basically. But that passion project, I challenge you, whatever you want to do in life, whatever you've been putting off for a long time, do it tomorrow. Actually, hell, do it today. That's what I mean. Do it right now. Start taking one step to it. Like let's say you've been trying to lose weight for years. Like you've wanted to lose weight for years. And like just take one step. Like right now after this video, finish watching the video because we do have some more stuff about the investing side of things. But look up gym memberships. Have a plan. Take one step closer to that goal every single day. And that's compound interest, what I say. Like it's compound interest. Like you take one step, you get 1% better every day over a year. That's not 365% better. You are like 500% better than you were from that day one, because that 1% on 300%. Okay, this isn't gonna make much sense, but that 1% on day 364 to 365, that leap of 1% is way greater than that leap from day 1 to 2, if that makes sense. Because like you're way more than 365% times better. Like you're like 500 times better, or something like that. I figured it out once, but I wasn't doing that. Like that fear of losing everything. I wasn't making enough risky trades. I wasn't shorting enough stocks, even though that's where I knew the big money was at. And I was just buying. I was just over diversification. Like I was buying 50 stocks, and like you know, I was buying. I had like 120 stocks or something like that, or like 60 stocks. I don't know, but pretty much out of a lot of stocks. And I was just buying them all in similar cycles. I was buying all tech stocks, and I like diversifying between shorts and longs is what I was kind of getting at. Like I was going all my money at one basket with the long, when the shorts were where that. And the reasons why I did succeed were I established like 10 commandments of shorting. I literally had a framework. When you short stocks, this is what you're gonna do, and this is exactly what you're looking for. And I had them written down, and they were the 10 commandments, which we can share all the investing stuff and like the tips of how I actually made the money. This is kind of just the story time and kind of what I learned for it and how it changed my life basically. But I was checking the stocks all day. Okay, guys, so something crazy happened. My phone died when I was filming, and I literally charged it up, looked back at my camera roll, everything was gone. So what did I do? I started refilming it outside late at night. My roommate was going to bed. I started refilming some of it. It was cold out, and I kind of rushed it because it was like, second take wasn't as great. I go on my phone this afternoon to I was refilming the outro. I was gonna refilm this part anyways because I was just gonna try to cut down some of the parts from the beginning. But the whole thing was there. I think most of it from what I recorded was there. Not all of it, but I think like up until I got a message around like the 50-minute mark or something like that, where I put my phone in like low battery mode, and it didn't get all of what I said, but I think it literally has 59 minutes of video saved. So I'm happy, man. It's Super Bowl Sunday, guys. Go freaking Chiefs, guys. Could age poorly for me, but I hate the Eagles. I have like 4 or 5 NFL teams that I absolutely just don't like and I hate, and the Eagles are one of them. So go Chiefs, baby. But I think we left off by like reasons why I didn't succeed and stuff like that. And I just said I was afraid to take the big risk when I knew it was probably going to work. You got to keep in mind the goal of this game wasn't to become a millionaire. It was to make as much money as possible. It was like get rich quick. That's literally what you're trying to do. You have 2.5 months to do this, and you're trying to get as rich as you can in those 2.5 months. But if you break it down, if you always invest for the short term, and if you can master that short term trading, like if you just do that, I honestly think it might be better than long term, and that's what taught me this. Like everyone's like buy low, sell high. I said screw that. Like society's like go to college, get a job, work a 9 to 5, get married, whatever, have kids, and you're successful. Well, let's say you don't want that. Let's say you're not happy. Like let's say your parents think you should be a lawyer or a doctor, but let's say screw that. I want to actually start my own business. I want to let's say I want to flip cars, or I want to be a home appraiser, or something else that they think low of. Or let's say I just want to personal train clients at the gym. Like fitness is my passion. I love helping others. Let's say I want to become an online personal trainer, and I'm going to be a certified personal trainer in the gym. And your parents are like, well, that doesn't pay anything. You need to become a doctor. Screw that. Screw what society's telling you, because like if you're passionate about something, if you find something that you love, and you find a good way to make something that you love very profitable for you, you can be more successful and you'll be way happier in any field. But I'm not saying do what you love is not the greatest advice. It's terrible advice, actually. My passion's water skiing. When I was 13 years old, I wanted to be a professional. Oh, why? I don't even have my mic, man. You got a fan going in the background. You guys can probably barely even hear me. Excuse me 1 second, guys. I'll be back. 1 second. At least that mic fail wasn't as bad as it was when, I muted my mic. I did this on accident and somehow it muted the mic. But I feel like we should turn this up and turn the reverb down. All right. So we're back. So what I kind of decided to do was start taking the risk and start knowing what I was meant to do. Like I knew I was meant to. If I wanted to win this game, I was going to day trade it, do everything, whatever. I knew this is what I meant to do to win the game. It's not what I'm supposed to do. It's not what that guy told us when the first thing. It's not like what my parents told me. It's not what any personal finance teacher told me. It's like what everyone who I think I mentioned this, or I don't know what I mentioned and what got on camera or not. But I said buy low, sell high. If people know one thing about the stock market, that's it. I did the exact opposite. I was looking to buy high, sell low, because I started shorting stocks. And for me, at least, it's a lot easier to predict if a stock's going to go down in the short term. Like, for example, like I know some stock, like there's some, like if you're looking for like, I think investing in the long term is great. Like let's say you knew Amazon in like 2005, you could literally, if you literally put $1,000 in Amazon in like 1995 or something like that, you'd literally be like, literally have enough money to retire. Like that's nuts. Like if you invest in like a penny stock or a low company stock that, like let's say you invested in Tesla like 10 years ago, but like you don't know. Like let's say a lot of those low cap stocks, when I won the first game in high school, I literally maybe like that game maybe lasted a month at best, but like I was maybe up like 5-6% on my $100,000. That was it. And like I was looking for growth stocks that were like small cap growth stocks that are gonna grow, and like all the stocks that I picked, like you could look, the game ended, but you could kind of, it kept your portfolio. So if I didn't sell any of my stocks, I would have probably, like I think I was at like $150,000 last time I checked it, and I think the game went away after like 2 years or something like that. But you know, but you can't predict if this stock's going to go up. It might take like 5 years for it to get that growth that you're thinking of. So for me, it was just a lot easier to predict when the stock was going down. And it's pretty easy for me. Like a lot of times I was wrong. Like I said, sometimes I lost big money, but uh, a lot of times, a lot of my like I'd say 60% of my trades I just broke even on. But I knew great opportunities sometimes, and I could just see this stock's going to be a big hitter, and if I knew it was going to be a big hitter, I'd throw a lot of money at it, and I'd made some very very big trades, and my losses were minimal. Because at first, when I started doing some shorts in the month of March, but I panicked. I didn't have any patience. Like I literally lose like $10,000 on the stock. I'm like, oh my god, I gotta sell before I lose 20,000 because I was too scared of losing money in the game. But I told you guys earlier that day after I won that big money, like the big day, the big turnaround day, March 31st. That next day, I bought a stock and I was down like literally like three times what I paid for it. Like I bought it at like $40 and it was at like $120 that same day. And I was like, oh my god, I got back into the game and like my net worth is gonna be as low as ever. I'm like, I'm just gonna keep whatever I have in it. Keep what I have in it. I had like $20,000 in it too. By the way, I had a lot of money in this. I thought it was a slam dunk. And guess what? I held that stock throughout like the whole majority of the game, and I actually made a decent profit on it. So it's all about adapting and learning and getting more experience. Like this was a hands-on experience. It doesn't mimic the stock market 100%, but it's pretty damn close. And I kept adjusting my strategy. When something's not working out, you just got to adjust your strategy like I did. I adjusted my strategy so many times, and I was just patient with the results. Don't expect the results overnight. Like this game was kind of a short timetable, but so you had to make moves and stuff like that. But it just showed that if you take calculated risk, I'm not saying rob a bank. That's not a calculated risk. I mean, it's not. It's a stupid risk. But you know, take that calculated risk that could make you more money. Day trade it. I'm not. I'm not saying day trade without experience. I'll get to that later on. If you're gonna day trade, if you want to get into day trading, join simulated games first and get a lot of experience doing that. Because if you wanna have experience doing stocks and stuff like that, do sim. I can't recommend it enough. Because like you have to, for me to take advice from you, you have to prove yourself to me that you have the results either in real life with real money or simulated. But um, I have some reasons kind of why I succeed at the end. I established the 10 Commandments of storing stocks. Like I had a list of rules saying this is my framework for like when I'm gonna buy, how much I'm gonna buy, like what I'm looking for, like how much percentage has it gone up? Like if it's gone up by this much percentage in the last month, or is this something that I feel like is gonna crash down quick, or is it just gonna main gain and like slowly curve down? Which I wasn't looking for a long term gainer here. Like if I was maybe investing over if I was investing in real life, I'd be looking for a stock that would decline a lot over the year, not just go up and down, up and down, up and down. If that makes sense, I would still buy those stocks if I had a lot of capital, but I'd mix it a lot more because like the end goal was just try to make as much money as you can in 2 months. Not like if this was like a year long thing, I would make more money, way more money. But I had dozens of different shorts going at once. So like I said, a lot of them failed. Like I lost money on not. I mean, let me see in that month of April. I don't know what I have for the stats here, but actually, in April I started getting it down. I had a profit rate of 87.1% on shorts because of my patience. So like I never some people like car salesmen, like guys who are professional car salesmen, they never sold a car for a loss. I was kind of that way. I was patient. Like sometimes I'd have to hang on to it for a while, but I usually never sold for a loss unless the stock was literally main gaining. Like I said, and it wouldn't move at all, and it was just a waste of capital. And like I'd rather just cut my losses and buy something that's more volatile. And sometimes like I would literally, like I said, if this was a longer game, I would have still owned that stock. But I just saw an opportunity that I'm like, I need to sell off stocks because when I saw a new opportunity, I literally skimmed off a little bit on each thing, and I went for the new stock basically. But I only had one $20,000 game in the whole game, and that was that big turnaround day, and that was when I was at my like lowest the day before, or like 2 days before I was at my lowest. But I stayed patient. And I gained my worst week in the month of April. We gave month by month statistics for everyone, but we didn't give it for April. My worst week, I gained $27,000 in the month of April, and my best week, I had 59,000. That was the last week of the game. I I, I made $59,000 in 1 week. I went from about 143 to 202 in 1 week. So that was very good of me. And our worst day of the month, I can't even read this, but there was one day in April where I lost like $2,000 or something like that. And my best trade was a short it was Kelly B. I made $12,000 off that trade, $12,628.42. And but my best stocks were, I'll give you my best stocks. Kelly B was my best stock. I traded it several times. I shorted it 3 different times between April 1st and April 15th. So I'll just read you guys off kind of like when I bought it and stuff like that. So the first time I shorted it, it was April 1st. It was the day after that big turnaround day. And you know, I bought it at $32 and I sold it at 30.49, and I bought 300 shares and I made $453. And then earlier that day I bought it at 48.54 and I sold it at 30.49, and I had 700 shares that time and I made $12,635. That was the best trade. And then later that day, or like in the middle of the day, I bought it at $42. When it kept going down, I bought it at $42, sold at 30.49, and I made $4,000.28.50. So I sold it all on the same day. That on April 1st, I made about $17,000 on Kelly B because I bought it 3 different times and I sold it all at the end of the day. And then again on March 5th, or on April 5th, I bought it, went back up. So it was I sold at 30.49 on April 1st, but on April 5th, I bought it again at $41. And by buying it, means I'm shorting it. So like I'm short. All my big trades were shorts. I'm buying high and I sell low. So when the stock goes down, I make money. And I sold it at $38.93, and I had 400 shares and I made $828. And then the last time was on April 14th. I bought it at $32.94, sold it at $30.20, and I had 1,000 shares that time and I made $2,700, $2,740 off of it. And then let's say my worst trade. So my worst trade was GameStop. And the whole thing, that was my worst stock. I bought it 12 different times. So I bought it, I short sold it 9 times, and I bought it just as a normal long position in 3 times. And I lost $1,000 5 times on GameStop. I gained $1,000 in 4 different trades, and I had a $6,000 gain on it once, $6,134.84 on March 22nd, and I basically owned it almost every month of the game. I'm just gonna show you guys. I can take a picture of it and throw it on screen too, but if you guys can see that, I don't know if you can see that. That's like a chart. It's like a chart of everything. I will just throw a picture of it on the screen. So it's basically a chart of everything. And then my second best trade was Berry. I think it was Berry. I don't know. All right, so this was my worst trade in April. CELC. I don't. That's the ticker of it, and I don't have a graph, but I pretty much lost. I lost $4,000, over $4,000. It looks like on it. I can't see with these shades on. Yeah, so I lost $4,130 on that stock on April 4th, and then Canopy Growth. This is the cannabis stocks. I shorted it twice, or CGA. I don't know if that's Canopy, but I lost $3,900 on it. So my losses were big, but my wins were a lot bigger. My best. So on that Kelly B, I made 18.9% on it, and I made $19,495 off it. My second best trade was Berry. It was Versicity or whatever. I don't even know what the company does, to be honest with you. We had to do research on like what does the companies do and stuff like that. So I remembered it back in the day, but I don't have those notes with me. But I made $14,741.69 off of it. I traded it between April 8th and April 12th. Shorted it twice on the 8th and the 9th. So you can kind of see like the chart. Like, I'm not even sure. That's not even worth it. But, my second best stock, my third best stock, this was probably my favorite one from the game. It was Wilhelmia, or Whelm. WHLM. I made $13,695.07 off of it. I only went up 2.4% on it. So that means I put in a lot of money from it. But that $13,000 is in gains. That's in gains, not like buying price combined. It's not. It's like I bought it for $20,000 and I invested $20,000 into it and I got $33,000 back. Because some guys are idiots. I know a guy who works for me. He's the biggest moron of all time. But he bets on football games. He bets on the Chiefs every playoff season. He bets on the Chiefs. and he could literally lose the bet on the Chiefs and lose the Super Bowl and get, or like he can bet on anything. So like they take he's like he put in $100 on like the Chiefs last year or something like that, and like the AFC Championship, or like one of the years like when the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl, he put like $100 on him, or like it was a playoff game, he put $100 on him and he got like $87 back or something like that. He's like, I won $187, and no, you just won 87. All right, but that one was pretty damn crazy actually. That's GameStop actually. That one was pretty crazy. I like I said, that was the stock that I owned for 9 minutes and made $5,500 off it in 9 minutes. That was pretty quick. That was on the last, like the second to last day of the game. It was in the afternoon, like I said. It was when I was at home, not doing homework, when I was on quarantine, and I bought it at like 240, and at like 10 minutes later, I kid you not, it was 9 minutes later, I made $5,500 on that stock. So that's pretty damn good. That's like, you hear about people making $1,000 an hour. I made 5,500 in 9 minutes. So that's literally like, that equates to like freaking like 33. That's like $33,000 a year if I could keep doing that. That's $33,000 an hour if I could kept doing that. So that's pretty damn good money. Obviously, it takes money to make that kind of money, but $33,000. I made $33,000 an hour in that game for that stock at least. Pretty crazy. If I could, so I have a big thing that I'm gonna reveal at the end of the video. That's gonna be really exciting because like making this video, I'm like I want to go back in time and relive this moment. Like I've made a lot of mistakes in my life, and I don't regret anything. Don't regret anything that I've ever done. I've done some stuff that I wish I wouldn't have done, but I don't regret it because everything that I've done wrong, or at least in like the last few years, I've learned from it a lot. So reasons why I succeeded at the end, we're gonna get into it, and then I'm gonna get into my exciting opportunity at the end of the video. That's really cool that I didn't know of when I was filming yesterday. Really. So yeah, I was checking the stocks hourly. I told how I was checking them during tests. Kept meticulous records. I'll show you guys like some sheets. I'll take some pictures. I'm gonna throw them on the screen. Had a lot of research, perfect amount of diversification, because like you know, if one short backfired, I always had one that was winning, and I had different types of shorts. Like in my 10 commandments of shorts, like I had different rules and stuff like that. And I had longs too. Like I had like 20,000 that I just kept in long stocks just to keep me going. And like, I day traded extremely volatile stocks at the end. So like it's gonna change like $10 in a day. And I also bought low price stocks so I could buy a lot of them. So like let's say that Willemia, for example, that I made $5,500 in 9 minutes. That stock was about $8, and it went down. I had like 5,000 shares of it or something like that, and it went down like $1.20, and that's where I got my $5,500. Like, if you're buying a large cap stock, that's, let's say the stock price is $200, and if it goes up $5, you can't have that many. You can't have 5,000 shares of it. So people are like, What did you buy? Did you buy Apple? And I'm like, I bought companies that you've never heard of, and I bought companies that were super low priced, and I bought companies that probably aren't good companies for the long term. And they're like, how do you find them? And I'm like, I'm a genius. Okay. Um, I had the same amount of fun. Once I started winning, I just wanted to keep getting better, and I started setting these goals for myself, like $200,000. My dad pushed me to get better too. Like he was always there supporting me and saying, you got to get back in that game, and like he pushed me to do better. Like he didn't believe me that I could get to 200,000 when I told him I'm going to 200,000. He's like, that's going to be nearly impossible. I'm like, I'll prove you wrong. And he was like, he was excited to see the results. He was genuinely proud of me. And like I said, that 2 weeks was one of the best weeks of my life. Like, you got to realize that this is my passion. Like, I wanted to become a mutual fund manager. I knew it. Like, I was looking forward to the stock market game the whole damn year. Like, I struggled through accounting class for this. Like, I literally transferred schools kind of because I could make sure I could play this stock market game. Like, this is the, this was like the perfect way to top off my high school career. Like, it was definitely my best moment as a high school student. Like definitely one of my favorite moments, and like my whole senior year, that spring semester was really good for me. Um, but so now that brings me to the next thing. So I was like, could I go back and relive the game? I was looking up the game and everything, stock market game, like, and I actually pulled some strings and got into the South Dakota stock market game. So they started a week ago. So I don't know. I can't see the leaderboard right now. I can't see the rankings because I haven't made any trades yet. But they started a week ago, and I actually am over $100,000 already. Like I haven't even made a single trade yet because they give you 7% interest on your cash. So I'm like at $100,000 and $14 or something like that, $1,014 or something like that. And I don't know how many people are in the game because you're NA. You're not included in the rankings until you make a trade. But I somehow got into the game, kind of saying I was like a homeschooled high schooler, or I don't know what I said, but I got back into the game somehow. And my goal is to get to $1 million. They already have a weak head start on me, so I'm already at a disadvantage. But I was at a greater disadvantage before because I was down to $71,000 with 2 weeks left in the game. But I won. I looked at the results. So that kid, the second place team, like I said, they wouldn't have won it if it wasn't for me. They were in the top 10, and they had like a $15,000 a week, and they actually were in second place by like $8,000 over third place. But like I was responsible for first and second. They wouldn't have won without me, guaranteed, and they'll admit that too. So the kid who was doing it was actually into the game pretty much, almost as much, not as much as me. No one was wired like me, but he wanted to win the game too. Like he wanted to get second place. And like he was like once I started winning, like he was clowning me a little bit in the beginning. He's like they had the results on the whiteboard every week. So like the teacher would update him. He's like, "Oh, you were in last place, man. What the hell happened? Did you just get lucky?" And I'm like, I started making money moves. I said, everyone was like, "What? How the heck did you do that?" Like I literally went from like 156 to first right away, and like my partner was like, "Thumbs up, everything." But pretty much I helped him out a really good week. But third place was at like 116, 117,000. Like the results they post them on Instagram, like pictures of. I have proof that I won. So I was literally like, I was $90,000 about almost. I was about $85,000 up on third place, which is just insane. And they were about $50,000 ahead of me at one point in the game with 2.5 weeks left. So I wasn't at this point. Like my first week after 1 week of trading, like they've been playing for 1 week already. And after 1 week of trading, I was at like 92,000 or something like that. I was like $8,000 my first week. So I'm in a pretty good spot right now. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually in 2 games. I'm in Wisconsin right now. So they have a statewide Wisconsin game that I'm joining, and that starts tomorrow. First game starts tomorrow. So my goal is I'm gonna be trading. I'm not gonna trade like a maniac like I did last time. Like I'm in college now. I can't, like some classes I can't be on my computer trading. I actually have to take notes and listen and stuff like that. It's important stuff because like it's like lecture, take notes, study for the test, and it's like all test based. Like if you don't pay attention in class, you don't take good notes, you're not gonna pass the class. But I'm not gonna be that addicted to it. I'm gonna have a lot of fun doing it. But here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna trade every single day on both accounts, and my goal is to get $1 million in equity for the whole thing. Same rules apply. They're actually a little bit stricter. Like they won't let you buy or sell a stock. They won't let you purchase a stock that's under $3, and like the market cap has to be at least $25 billion. So for the South Dakota game, since it already started, I can make trades already, but they won't be active till the market's open on Monday. So I already bought like 20 stocks, but like I don't know what the opening price is going to be. So like the first day is going to be a little bit dicey. I have to work tomorrow and stuff like that. Like I'm going to try to get this video the day that I'm starting the game. Like it's Super Bowl Sunday right now. I'm going to try to get out on Monday. I might just do minimal editing and stuff like that. I have to bleep out a few swear words and just make things more concise. But essentially, I'm in the game. I'm in both games, and what I'm gonna do is every day I'm gonna do a video, like showing what I bought, my kind of recapping the day, because like I'm gonna do that no matter what, pretty much. So I'm just gonna film it, show you guys what I'm doing, and give you more investing tips. That way, you can kind of see like the behind the scenes of how I actually made the money. Because like I kind of talked a little bit about strategy, like very very basic and rudimentary strategy, like how I like bought more shorts and stuff like that. But I didn't know like what I was looking for in a stock or whatever. So like I'll kind of like give you guys tips. So if you're in a stock market game right now, or you're just trying to make money in real life, like you can actually make some money and actually get a lot of out of it. So that's my plan. Every single like the games don't end until like the middle of April. So we're gonna try to do that every single day. I can't guarantee that I'm gonna do it every single day. Like I'm busy. I'm in college. I have other responsibilities. I have a job, and I have other stuff going on. Like I want to go to the gym every day, besides Sunday and stuff like that. So I do have other priorities, but I want to win that game again, man. I want to go on a two-peat because like all the haters are gonna say it was you just got lucky. I mean you were literally one of the worst you were the worst in the state basically, bottom like 3 for the majority of the game, and somehow you win by $80,000 in just 2 weeks. Like if the game would have went on, would I have won? Like if it was like 2 more months, would I have blown that money? Who knows? But this is my chance. I'm gonna get $1 million this time. That's my goal. $1 million in equity. I don't know if that's ever been done in the history of the South Dakota game, but that would be pretty cool. That means I would make $900,000 in the stock market in about 9 weeks. So that's a pretty lofty goal. But like I said last time, You guys might think I'm crazy, but I know I'm gonna do it. So like there's a greater chance that the world ends tomorrow and we all die, and you don't even see this video, than me not winning that both games. So I'd be shocked if I didn't win. Like some guy would literally have to have like $5 million, but like some other guy could be out there. A youngin coming up could be like, you know, I'm gonna win because like this is gonna be interesting. There's gonna be college. The one in South Dakota, I've already played that game. There's college kids in it, so like I'm not legally like you have to get like a program advisor. So I'm like my own advisor. Like I pretty much said I'm like I have this investment club, but I got in the game, so this is gonna be a lot of fun. Like I have not been in this excited for a long time. Like we're watching the Super Bowl tonight. I just can't wait for it to be over. To be honest with you, I love football, big football fan, but I just can't wait to start trading tomorrow and get that thrill going. Like get that tingling in your veins when you're making a trade. Like it was just every day was a thrill. And when I made a trade, I was like, yeah! Like I was literally like fist bumping, saying I got it at a good price or whatever. But it's gonna be a hell of a ride, and I'm gonna take you guys along with it, giving you my picks so you guys can win your own stock market games. Like hell, if the people start watching, they're gonna start like I would literally like everyone that went to my old school to get like top 10. That would be like insane. Like have me go number one and have like they have teams there, like so it's 2 people per team. So let's say they have 15 kids in the class. Like it's probably like less than 20 kids in the class. Like 20 kids in that class would be a very big class. Like I think we had maybe 12 kids, something like that. We had like 3 girls in there, and we had like I'm trying to think in a different group. We had 4 boys, and then we had another group of 4 boys. So we had like 11 kids and 12 kids in there or something like. We had 11 kids in that. And I think the teacher may have played with 1 kid or something like that. So we had like 6 groups or something like that. But yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm gonna take you guys along with it. You know, I could be getting a little bit braggadocious or cocky, but I'm just confident. That's at the end of the day, I'm confident. I know I'm gonna win, guys. This is gonna be very, very fun. Like I haven't been this excited. This is my dream job. This is like practice. Like I'm gonna learn a lot from this. I might even learn more than I did in the first time. I don't think that. I think the last learning experience was huge, but like I said, I've done 3 of these games now. The one when I was a kid with my grandma and my cousins. The one in my personal finance class in 11th grade, and the big one, my senior year of high school. So I've won every single one. I've never lost, and now I'm in 2 more. So my goal is to win both, and my goal is to just compete in my game. I'm gonna be way ahead of everyone else, probably. Like no one else. There might be a few people that double their money. I wouldn't be surprised if a few people double their money, but no, I don't think anyone's gonna hit a milli, except me. So we got some work to do. We got some research to do, but Big Money Mike's back, and we're gonna win these games. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm gonna keep doing these stock market games videos. I love this. So let's go, guys. See you then, and maybe I can help you get rich. And if I can make a milli, like I can literally prove to my parents that day trading is legit, and I'm literally just gonna. I literally could just drop out of school and be a professional day trader. Like if I can prove that, if I can make $1 million, like starting from like if I can turn $200,000 into $2 million, basically, because like it's $100,000 you start with each game. So if I make a million both, I mean I'd be foolish not to do at least take this seriously in real life and not just throw like pennies on or like tax dollars in day trading. So I obviously got the skills, guys. I got the passion. It does take a little bit of luck. I will admit that it's not all skill. It's 95% skill, but you just sometimes you need luck to succeed, without a doubt. Like you never know what the stock's gonna do. You never know how it's gonna behave, and there is a lot of skill involved. But like I said, there's luck. So it just might not be my month. But I no way I can't beat it. I can talk all day about this. So I'll let you guys go. But thank you guys for watching, guys. Minimal editing in this video again. I'm just trying to keep these quick. So like all these videos where I do, they're gonna be minimal editing just so I can post more and stuff like that. But guys, make sure you subscribe. This channel's only at 8 subscribers right now, but my main one's at like 1.6K. So if you're interested in like other stuff, you can subscribe to my main, but you don't have to. But this one, just subscribe. That's all I'm asking, guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.